They got that window.
We're here. We got dogs going. We got children going. We got everything going on, baby. This is the CFRL podcast. We're here. Kevron's gone. He's handling some children and some dogs. Maybe a little bit of both. Who knows? But we're here post New Hampshire. I was supposed to go. And then weather. Hooray.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was unfortunate.
Still could have went. Should have went.
In theory, I could have. It was definitely not safe considering some of the forecast, what it was saying. So, didn't want to battle tornadoes, potential tornadoes along the way. Unfortunately, we can't go. We'll be back next year. Probably we'll have a new date next year, actually. So that's something we will talk about later on in this episode. But this stream is titled The Loudon Slip and Slide. We basically had two completely different races. We had the pre-rain, post-rain.
We had about a 250 lap race, and then we had about a 50 lap rain race.
Yeah. And both of which I think were good. I think the race before the rain, I think, is forgettable to some, but I thought it was a good race. You saw Bell and Truex do their thing, and that's not surprising. Having been there the last 2 years and seen how good both of them are at Loudon. But those guys do their thing. Chase Elliott led some laps, which when I was sitting at home watching the first about 40, 50 laps, I was pretty bummed out that was going on, and I was there for that. And then he fell back down to earth, kind of where he usually runs there, and I was like, oh, okay, that's more like it. But I thought it was overall a decent race. I don't think we'll talk much about the pre-rain segment of the race, but big takeaway for me is that the wet weather tires are a positive for sure, and they can work in different situations. Now that we've seen them not only just to start the race like they did at Richmond, they were used to finish this race here in the Granite State of New Hampshire. And I think that NASCAR kind of had like the training wheels on for this instance, because this is the first time we've ever really done this in such an impactful part of the race. Instead of the first 40, 50 laps, we did them at Richmond with the wet weather tires and those damp conditions. So I'll get everybody's thoughts on that, but I think it's a positive. Maybe next time NASCAR can kind of let the teams control what they want to do in terms of
Hopefully
tire situations. I understand the non-competitive pit stop aspect of it, because pit road could be semi-dangerous with those conditions. Yeah. But I do kind of wish maybe they would let them not regulate when you're switching tires. Kind of just say, all right, you can either go to slick tires if you want, you can get another wet weather set, or you can stay on the same ones and leave it up to the teams to decide, not force them. But I understand why they did it like this for this instance. But what was everybody's thoughts on the wet weather tires in that segment of the race?
I think they performed pretty well. It's just weird with the whole NASCAR kind of mandating when you can or can't take tires. For the first time in NASCAR history, they opened pit road and said you cannot change tires. It was a weird thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They had 3 sets of wets, I believe, right? And I think they used all of them.
Yeah.
Which is a good reason why NASCAR kind of regulated it, to be honest. So there'd have been some teams there at the end that would have been out of them that changed them and got made to put them back on.
Would have had to go into slicks. Yeah.
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 Or run what they had.
Mm-hmm.
What others? Yeah. Tegan, thoughts?
I mean, it was interesting. I mean, I kind of like it, and I see why NASCAR has to hold their hands. I don't like the bitching about it from fucking Bob Pockers, who's getting a little mouthy here lately. Denny Hamlin, who's always mouthy when it doesn't benefit his fucking ass. I see why NASCAR done it, and you know what? Maybe they should have let people put on slicks. They'd have been another yellow. I just don't think they would have been able to run the draw line, because everybody else would have fucking been in.
There was a lot of drivers on the radio saying that they were ready for slicks, but you could tell by looking at that track it was not ready for slicks.
Yeah, I agree.
They'd have backed her
There
into
was-
the fucking fence, or they'd put a McDowell
Yeah.
and took somebody else out, trying to fucking haul it in there. So I
Like
don't know. I think
dumbass.
NASCAR made the right call. And you only get 3 sets. NASCAR restarted that race with like 80 laps to go. They had to manage the tires for these fuckers. It goes to show you that NASCAR has to manage. They have to hold these guys' hand because they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They would have put on their fucking tires in the first 40 fucking laps and then would have been fucking crying at the end. And who knows, NASCAR would have been forced to fucking call the race because of fucking dumbassery. So I don't mind the call. Maybe in the future at these tracks where we run these, we bring more sets. We bring more. If now that we know that we can do it at the beginning, middle, and the end, maybe you need to look at bringing enough sets to do half.
Well, see, I think the whole problem with that,
or
though,
wet tires, whatever
is
the hell the
that
fuck you want to call them.
the problem with that, though, is that what is the chance of those tires being needed at a race weekend?
Can you just roll them over to
maybe
other race
10%?
weekends then?
But each track has a different tire.
I don't know if the wet weather tire has
I don't know if the
different
rain tire
compounds.
is different, but and you also
No,
have to keep
they're.
in mind.
I'm pretty sure they said that they're just general tires.
But
They're,
then you
they're
also
not
have
made
like
of a certain compound or
you know,
nothing.
teams have to buy these tires. It's not like they're just
Yeah.
grabbing them. Like, you know, they're buying these 3 sets of tires that are not going to get used for the weekend. And like, so Denny has talked about this on his podcast before about how much money they spend on tires and how, like, when they have sets of tires that they do
Yeah, I
not use for
remember-
the weekend, they do not get rolled over to another track, even if that track has the same tire. They just buy new sets. Now, you know, underfunded teams probably a little different. They, you know, definitely probably take those leftover tires. But if you're talking about like something
Because
like
they
that,
want
where
the
you're
best
having to buy
rubber.
3 sets of rain tires,
That's their
because
fault.
that rubber ages, even if it's not getting
Yeah,
used. So you want.
I think
like,
you can do the rain
fresh new
tires
rubber.
differently.
It's
Yeah.
tough.
I think
I
you
feel
can
like
buy
if
them
you,
when they're
if you
used
mandate
and when
them
they're
to
put
take 5
on.
sets, so they have to buy 5 sets, and then they might not even use them. So I don't know. It's
And then
I don't
adds
think
to the-
NASCAR will make you buy 5 sets though. I think you can mandate it to where you only buy what you use. That's the way it needs to be. Period. In my opinion, that's the way it needs to
Then-
fucking be.
that's the way
it used to be.
should always be. But I
Years
think
ago.
that's something in
Yeah.
their contract with Goodyear that they've done. I don't know.
Yeah, but then Goodyear might not make their money, and that's,
Well, then
what
that's
everything's
NASCAR's
all
fault.
about, right?
For
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
for saving for somebody for a sport that's all about saving these owners and drivers money, they sure enough
They
fuck
don't
don't
mind.
care to stick it somewhere else.
They sure will
Yeah.
make them pay a fuckload for it, and then they're not going to give them the money back
Elsewhere.
when they need
You
it.
know,
Yeah.
I would support y'all's theory of pay for what you use if maybe that would give Goodyear some incentive to make tires that wear, so they can make more money. I mean,
No, yeah,
is that a thought? Like,
I don't know.
mean, if
Well, I
you-
mean, okay,
Let's make
so
these bitches wear on 10
it's
laps, so they
it's
got to buy 10
two-sided-
sets.
Yeah, I think you should do the rain tires that way because you cannot predict when NASCAR is going to make the call, when to put them fuckers on, and when they're going to take them off. So I think the rain tires at least could be made to where you only pay for what you put on, because I'm pretty sure one of them said that these tires are not made specifically for New Hampshire. They're just in general threaded tires, so they're not
Yeah.
made for certain tracks at all. So they could literally be either carried over or just took back.
Yeah. Cameron, your thoughts? Definitely a revolutionary idea. Like, wouldn't have ever seen this coming a few years back, even at these short ovals, to see a race finish under these conditions with cars making it look like it's Fontana in Loudon.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
Your
I
thoughts?
say one of their big wins was pushing the race ahead of time, and to be able to, because if they were to have started at the time that they were originally going to, and then they went to the rain tires or not, there would have been no way they finished the race before the sunset. New Hampshire
Or they would have called the
already-
race.
Yeah, they would have called the race, but. You know, there's a win on that, and
We're
I agree
dotted.
with Tegan. They had to hold the teams and the drivers' hands, because if they were to try to make their own decisions and they were going to try to put slicks on when they shouldn't need slicks on yet, you would have seen a whole lot of Michael McDowell moves being made. And so,
Or
Michael
just going
McDermott.
through all their 3 of their sets of rain tires. They would have been
Yeah.
out.
they would have been
Fucking
out.
4
and then
teams
NASCAR would have
pitted
been
after
like,
20
well,
laps and put them on again.
Right.
And they were
what's
bitching.
NASCAR
There was a caution before that one, and they were bitching about wanting tires then.
So, I honestly think that NASCAR, for the conditions they were handed and what they could have done, I think they've done a very good job. Hardly do I say that they do a really good job, but I feel like overall for the fans, for the teams, they done a good job. Applause to NASCAR.
I have a couple complaints. I think NASCAR could have moved up the race maybe a little bit more. You know? Yeah, because you can move it up an hour, and the weather, like the day before, it looked like
30 minutes.
Yeah, and you can move it up an hour. The rain was looking to come, you know, because trust me, I was watching it all week. It was trending that day, actually. It did trend to come later, and then it actually came earlier than what they thought. Some places were saying 5 or 6. Earlier in the day, it was saying 3 to 4, and it actually kind of came between maybe 4 and 4:30. The rain started to materialize in the area. So if they started at 1:30, they might have had a chance to get the full thing in before the rain came. You know, you get that extra 30 minutes of racing in. And another question I have is, okay, when it was lightly raining and the track was damp before the thunderstorms really came in and dumped on the track, why weren't we using the wet weather tires then? The rain wasn't heavy enough to, I think, impede vision.
Well, I think they were afraid of lightning.
They were afraid of lightning.
They were afraid of the spray, I think is what it was.
What? The track was not going to be much more wet than it was after, you know.
Okay, but do you want to take the chance of them being out there on the track with a light sprinkle and then the fucking bottom fall out? Then we have
we also have to keep in mind
rain tires or not.
Yeah, we also have to keep in mind that these aren't rain tires; they are wet tires. They're not designed or meant to be run in the rain.
Wet.
Yeah,
new
right. But is the track as wet after just a little bit of drying? Like the track was not wet, I think, when that light rain was falling that caused them to go into the pits. The track was, I think, damp, and then the downpour came about 40 minutes later. The frustrating part was, you know, if I was a fan sitting there watching, or even at home, there was a very light rain going on, and NASCAR was just, there was nothing going on. You know, it made it look bad for a little bit. Luckily, they kind of figured it out and made it look not as bad after, and got some racing in for the fans that showed out to Loudon, which is always a pretty good crowd. Underrated racing market, by the way, the Northeast and New England specifically. I
have to say this as, you know, us three have recent experience in this. Does this make short track tickets more valuable than intermediate and like super speedways?
Considering that they have the ability to maybe race.
Well, we only got 2 short tracks because they're not doing this at Bristol.
Well, not short. Well, yeah, not Bristol, but
they're going to do it at Richmond.
Because, like, think about this. We just went through this at the Coke 600. We went to the Coke 600, and because they don't have wet weather packages for 1.5 miles, which I understand it. It's high speeds. You can't really do it there.
But why won't they do it at Bristol though? Because it's concrete.
High banking. It's the banking.
Okay, banking. Okay.
The banking.
But
and that's part of the reason why
they could have ran that. They caught it way too early.
Now they have proven with this weekend, they have proven that you can finish a race as long as it is not fucking downpouring or raining. Raining hard.
That's part of the reason the Charlotte deal is why I kind of was like leaning towards not going Sunday and ended up not, because I didn't want to go and see another, like the way it looked like once it started raining, they weren't going to get back going with how the forecast was and how unstable the environment was around it.
And I told you that you cannot depend on that shit.
You know, I honestly
I'm not
I learned
mad
that lesson when I missed out on Harvick winning Atlanta.
I'm not mad I didn't go. All right, I would have been really angry at Joey Logano. We probably would have left after that, to be honest, knowing the rain was coming and not thinking we were going to get back going. We would have probably left around 4:15 from there, just so that we didn't walk home, like, because we weren't going to stay through like a 3-hour delay. I don't think. I mean, I wouldn't have minded, but I would also had 2 other family members with me that probably wouldn't have wanted to sit under the grandstand. So, yeah. Any other thoughts on that? The whole wet weather deal and New Hampshire in general?
I think that them trying to get this race finished is kind of a response to the backlash from Charlotte. I think a lot of people were pissed about that race not getting to finish because of humidity. That they're like, all right, I know there's only 50 laps in this race. I wouldn't have been mad if they called it. I think it would have been fine, justified. Hell, they got 250 out of 301 laps in. Like that's fine. And they waited through a 3-hour delay to run wets for 50 laps. So I mean, I think that's a good sign of them like trying to correct things of what they've done earlier this year.
Not if you're Bob Pockrass.
Can we talk about my luck in terms of races that I would like to go to? Nobody should go to a race with me.
I've never seen a Cup Series race finish under green.
That's pretty rough.
Went to the Daytona 500, ends under caution with Ricky Stenhouse winning.
I've seen 2 go caution free, Talladega out of 3.
That's a long time ago.
I've seen every Bristol race end, but every race was under a rain delay. Bobby Hamilton win one of those Dega races? 2002.
One, maybe? I don't know.
No, it was fall of 2002.
I think that was in the junior stretch fall 02. Oh no, Tegan's gone. He's having some trouble. It's not a great day for him with connection wise. Nothing really to write home about New Hampshire other than that. It was a solid race, not exceptional, kind of what you expect from New Hampshire. But there is a big rumor that it is returning to the playoffs next season. What are our thoughts on that? It is seemingly coming in to be the SMI replacement for Atlanta, as they're taking Atlanta out. Darlington's coming in. Also coming out of the playoffs would be Homestead. And
that's a dumb one.
Very dumb.
Don't quite get that one. And then Watkins Glen would be out of the playoffs also. What are our thoughts on the playoff adjustments? And the tracks coming in would, of course, be Darlington, Loudon, and Gateway.
I mean, I think the Darlington one we kind of saw coming.
Definitely.
Because
the Darlington Atlanta makes sense. Yeah.
It kind of fell on a weird time in the schedule this year with Labor Day and everything like that.
And with the Olympics, that was the real.
And the Olympics, that it kind of messed with the schedule a little bit, and they kind of had to put it in the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
Which I don't mind having a Darlington race in the playoffs. It's a great track.
It's a great kickoff to the playoffs, I think.
It is.
Yeah.
Cool
thing. Like what better track to start your playoffs on than the toughest track in NASCAR? But the Homestead one is really mind-boggling to me because that's the track that everybody wants to go back to for a championship race, and now it's not even in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's definitely a decision for sure. They said on the teardown that the partial reason to that is because of the warm weather to it, and they want to put it early in the season, so they have another warm weather race early on. But
so is that going to be like an early race where they go to Daytona and then Homestead? Or something
it could be like a deal where they go Daytona, Phoenix, Vegas, Homestead type thing. Sounds like. Doesn't make much sense travel-wise, but...
But Sonoma... in the West Coast swing.
Sonoma, yes, that would make a lot of sense.
Spring Sonoma.
I would like that.
I would love green Sonoma.
That'd be really cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
Miami would be a track that I wouldn't mind to have 2 dates. I don't know if they'd be able to support it based on attendance, but I think it would be a cool thing.
I don't think attendance would be good enough for that. I think it would kill it.
That's yeah. Another theory could be maybe they spend this year, the extended time they would have, maybe to try to put some renovations to the amenities at the track so they can host the championship race in 2026. It seems like Miami, the city sports commission, is trying to put in a bid for with NASCAR to return the championship race to Homestead. So yeah, we'll see about that. What are our thoughts on the other 2 tracks? Kind of Watkins Glen going out of the playoffs is not a huge surprise because that seemed like it was kind of just.
The only reason why it's in it was because of the Olympics. So
the Olympics,
it's no biggie.
Right. And
Gateway, I
that
can do without.
Yeah, I don't care for Gateway, and it makes it so that there's a
I can
lot
think
of
of better tracks.
now you have half the playoff tracks kind of being like either short or flat tracks. Because now you have Bristol, you have Martinsville, you have Loudon, you have Gateway, and you have Phoenix. That's
with this
Everybody
kind
can
of
figure their shit out.
I wish that they would bring back Chicagoland. I get we got the street course, but Chicagoland.
I don't think Chicagoland is coming back. I just don't think the announcement's there yet.
Well, they definitely would be a good fit for the playoffs and have it come
Be
back
good
there.
for the playoffs, yes.
I think it's a wait and see deal with how this Chicago race goes in 2 weeks, to see that and see does the city of Chicago accept it or do they not? Does the mayor like it? Does the mayor not? Because there's a different mayor right now than there was before
When they first signed the deal.
When they first agreed to the deal, and there is some controversy behind the deal. I believe 39% of residents support it, so that's not necessarily the most popular thing. You have an F1 street race rumored to come there at some point, so we'll see. But I think the Chicago street race is a good thing. At least last year was phenomenal and one of the best races of the season. Does it live up to that? I doubt it, because there's a perfect storm of things going on with the rain.
I don't think rain helps it.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with that. Maybe it turns out to be a banger again, and NASCAR has some. I think NASCAR is kind of onto something with the street race, though. I think maybe having one of those a year is kind of a good thing, and it's a really easy way to take it to a market that you're not in currently. You know, there's a huge hole in the kind of, Mormon section of the country, like Utah, Colorado, that whole region. There's not much going on of racing in that
market that you want to go cater to.
I'm just saying.
I don't know.
And I don't think Mormon is what you want to cater to either.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying maybe
a
Denver street race could hit hard.
I don't know if Denver's a market that would help NASCAR, though, because they've never been in that area.
So that's kind of why you might want to get there.
Maybe you can draw in some new fans, but it's like, are they going to stick around?
That's the question. I think it would be a cool thing. It's good because for that fans in that part of the country, some trainers not watching, but there's nothing close to him out there in Denver. Like it's not realistic to drive to any races and it'd be like an easy drive. I'm very lucky to have 3 that are about equidistant from me, with about 3 hours away with Watkins Glen, with New Hampshire, and with Pocono.
I mean, if they can do it and make the fan experience exceptional, then maybe it'll work. Because, think about Phoenix. Phoenix puts on 2 shitty races every single year, and they sell out both of them.
Exactly. And when you think of Phoenix as a NASCAR market, though, you don't. I mean, they've been going there for a while, so you kind of think of it. But in theory, I put it kind of similar to Colorado. Hey, he wants Denver. I think you should just get a street race, Mind Killer. I think that would be a lot of fun. I got your back, big dog. MK, they call him. Do we like Loudon in the playoffs? I think it kind of has a place in the playoffs. It was always, for the longest time, it was the first race of the playoffs. So
it was always Richmond and then Loudon.
To be honest, if it weren't for the rain, was this race going to be that good?
I think it was all right.
It was solid.
Would we consider it good? It was all right, but not good. I don't think all right should get you a playoff
but it's not
game.
bad.
But speaking from somebody that's been to the races there recently, the July date and this June date have been hampered and destroyed by weather. And I don't recall too often the race in September or whenever it was being affected by rain too badly. So I think that it's a positive for that to come into the playoffs again. It's a historical playoff track for NASCAR. I think it's a good spot for it. Loudon in the fall is probably very nice. I mean, if you go back and watch that race in 2001, they hosted like the weekend after Thanksgiving. They got really
That
lucky.
was
The
cold.
weather was nice.
But it was fucking garbage.
It looked beautiful. You had some really
it was
nice
30
golden
degrees.
hour.
Nice my ass.
No, it was warmer than that.
30 degrees. No, it
cold.
was
No,
not.
it was not that cold. It
They
was
had
not that cold.
jackets and the damn. There was no tire fall off. Even for 2001 standards, that was shit.
It was not
The
that
only thing
cold.
good
I
about it
watched
was
a
Jeff
couple
Gordon got
days
his
ago.
ass sent to the fucking wall.
Fuck you, mister. Robbie
Oh,
Gordon's a little
really,
bitch.
Tegan? You're
Robbie
going there.
Gordon's a little bitch.
Oh my God,
Little fucker.
you and Robbie Gordon.
Yeah, Tegan should fucking hate Robbie Gordon.
As a
for his
14-year-old, you love to see it.
Yeah, you didn't like Robbie
Whatever.
Gordon. You didn't like Robbie Gordon as a 16-year-old, did you? His fucking passing under yellow bitch ass.
My guy still finished third. It was your guy that you started running this yap about something that he had no business running it about. So
Oh, shut
pretty
up.
sure Harvick told him shut the fuck up.
Oh,
you
no.
shut up.
I'm pretty sure Harvick enticed that. Come on.
Yeah, Harvick was a little fuckhead back then. Glad some things didn't change. Kidding. Don't kill me. I'm not Spencer. Gonna miss Homestead in the playoffs for sure. Hopefully it finds its way back to the championship race in 2026. But hey, at least on the bright side, we only have to wait about 4 or 5 months between Homestead races, right? That's nice, I think.
I don't know. We don't go to either one, so it doesn't matter in our opinion.
No, but watching
Going
on
to the
television,
racetrack.
it's a good race to watch on TV. But
It's all
you know,
right.
I think it's a tough spot where, you know, half the playoffs are now tracks that don't perform as well with the next gen car. With the short,
They're
flat
they're
track.
still getting rid of mile and a halves. You think they
Which
would have
I-
went back on that by now?
One thing
Yeah.
I'm also have kind of I'm assuming from this, leak of tracks in and out the playoffs, you don't see Charlotte Roval on that list, so you can presume that we're going back to the Charlotte Roval next year.
And I think with Watkins Glen going out, I think they should stay at the Roval. So there is a road.
There's at
course
least a
in
road
the
course in the playoffs.
Yeah. If Watkins Glen stayed in the playoffs, then I would have assumed that maybe Charlotte Roval would have gone back to the Oval. You know, I kind of thought in the first place they put Watkins Glen in the playoffs and maybe made that a thing there so they could have an excuse to go back to the Charlotte Oval, which I wouldn't have minded. I like the Charlotte Roval, but I think now that you don't have Watkins Glen in the playoffs next year, that should definitely stay on the Roval. So, because you need all types of disciplines in the playoffs, I think, to test the drivers. Glad there's not going to be 2 super speedways in that whole deal next year, though. That's not necessarily the best thing.
Do you want to take a date away from Atlanta?
I think making it one summer race would be a cool thing.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know where you give that second date to, because that's an SMI thing. Do you go to Kentucky again? Or is that just a parking lot for Tundras? And
I think they cleared those out.
F-150s? So we'll see about that. I don't think Atlanta's losing.
I'm still
to-
everybody's in on this, trying to get Kentucky back and Chicagoland back. Chicagoland, understand. I'm still not.
Kentucky's
with
not a
bringing
great track.
Kentucky back.
but
Kentucky's just a bad track.
I think maybe it deserves a shot with the next gen car. See how that performs. You know,
They done what they did to Texas to it.
and Texas has been better the last 2 races, though.
But it's still been probably the worst of the mile and a half.
Because it's been a fucking
It
wreck
really
fest.
Yeah. You guys are both. I can't argue with any of you right now about it, but I think that it has been better, and drivers are on edge, which is something we asked for. Is it a little too random? Perhaps, but let's not talk about Texas. Well, we don't have to. We're not going back there for about another 9 months. Kevron could have another baby in that time.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna be there anytime soon. Let's chat about the news that broke, the worst kept secret in the sport. Chase Briscoe to the 19.
No, Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott.
Chase.
Chase to
it's
the
the
19
19 car.
Shout out to Christopher Bell for one of the best moments in recent memory for NASCAR, hearing him spill the beans on the Chase Briscoe to JGR news. Big props to JGR for bringing Christopher Bell out to kick off the press conference today and be the one to really announce Chase Briscoe to the 19 all over again. I thought that was a really cool thing from them. Thoughts on that? I think he's going to be the fourth best driver on that team. But it's a good opportunity for him. I think he can win a couple of races here, maybe one or two. And this is a big shot for him. You know, Martin Truex Jr., he kind of compared himself to Truex in a way. You know, that's something to live up to for sure. But before Truex went to Furniture Row / Gibbs, he only had 2 career wins. Chase Briscoe's only got 1. We could see potentially a similar career path. I don't quite put Truex and Chase Briscoe on the same talent level. I don't think that's really too close either, but we really haven't gotten a fair shot to see what he's
But
got
I wouldn't have said that years ago either.
Yeah, would you say that about Martin Truex Jr.
in 2011? You wouldn't.
Even 2015, 16. Not well, 15 and 16.
15.
Yeah, 14,
15, 16. Yeah.
And you could kind of see it in 12 and 13 with MWR that he was like not a slouch. You know, he won that Sonoma race in 13 and made the playoffs the year before, got kicked out of the playoffs in 13. So, yeah, what are our thoughts on Briscoe to the 19 with Bass Pro, which I think is an interesting detail about this?
I think Bass Pro sticking around really says something that I think they wanted Briscoe. I would have thought for sure that they would pull out and maybe go with Noah Gragson more, or maybe split it between.
Or bring Noah in.
Yeah, well, I didn't really see them bringing Noah in because he's got a bit of a history with Ty Gibbs, whose grandfather owns the team.
That seems like the biggest hurdle any driver has now is trying to go
getting
to
on
Gibbs.
Joe Gibbs is because they've gotten
Nobody
into it
likes
with his
Ty
grandson.
Gibbs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out Corey Heim. But yeah, I don't know. I thought that they would pull out and maybe jump on Austin Dillon or Noah Gragson more, maybe both of them.
I would not jump on Austin Dillon unless he was drowning.
I mean, they've been with Austin Dillon for a while. So,
That's really
you know those big goes.
I like that. That was
But
good, Tegan.
No, I mean it's cool to see them stay on and be with him. So I assume he'll probably have them and Mahindra tractors probably for his sponsors, and that's probably it.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be. I mean, it's a great opportunity for him. You're coming into a championship-winning team, going back to the Furniture Row days, basically the same crew. You know, James Small was on that crew on the 78, and it's kind of carried over throughout time to the 19. And James Small and Martin Truex Jr. compete for championships almost every year. They're always in the conversation for multiple wins in a season, for championships. And now, something that James Small said in the press conference, he can actually kind of build for the future, because the last few years have been does Truex return, does he not? And now you know that you have your driver for the foreseeable future in Chase Briscoe. Tegan, your thoughts? I don't think you're necessarily too high on Chase Briscoe, but I think it could be a good move for both parties, potentially.
I could care less. I think some people are thinking a little too highly of Chase Briscoe. He could prove me wrong, and then if so, then more power to him. But I'm like you. I think he's going to be the fourth best car at Joe Gibbs Racing for a while.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to set pressure on him that he needs to perform immediately, because you're going to a top tier.
Yeah,
team.
if he doesn't, then it's not a rod thing. It's a talent thing. The dude's had the same amount of time in this car than everybody else has, and he's been in Cup a year longer than that. So he should literally go into this team with no issues, just learning who his people are and his crew chief and his spotter. So there should be no reason why he shouldn't hit the ground.
I'm gonna give him 2 seasons to figure it out. But if he doesn't have it,
I don't think you give him that. I think you might give him half a season.
I'm talking about like a win. If he can't get a win,
I think he needs
seasons,
to at least win one race next year.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even
It
say
It depends
that.
on the
because you
circumstances.
can,
If he comes close, a lot of
And
times,
is
then yes, I
competing,
can give him a.
yeah.
I wouldn't
yes.
even say that
But
he
if he's
needs a
out there
win
running
though, because
shit, no.
I wouldn't even say that he needs a win. Like if he's running good and doesn't have a win, that's fine. Look at Martin Truex Jr. He went winless and missed the playoffs one year while being 4th in points. And like he struggled to, like he's been fast this year, but he hasn't been able to finish the races this year. But like if it's going on a while and he's just not competing for wins or anything like that, like I would say probably after the first year, if he's not competing for a win, we could probably call it a bust.
Well, I'll quote
Okay, but
from
the
what
thing
I
is,
saw.
if you're not out there winning races in this 19 car and you're just competing for top 5, top 10, does that still cut it?
That's what Martin Truex Jr. is doing right now.
You win this series now, that's all. It gets you a contract extension. Look at Suarez. Sorry, Sal, but it's the fucking truth. Suarez wins one fucking race at a plate race, and contract extended. Only because now they have to think about it. If it wasn't for this talks about the damn shit going down to 3 charters, it would have already been announced. It would have been announced as he was signing his fucking legalization documents at the fucking Statue of Liberty. He would have been signing 2 documents. But this charter bullshit that's going around is put a little halt to that. Now they got to decide: do they want the Australian or do they want the wetback? Who do you pick? So, but I don't think top 5, top 10 in it.
I don't think the choice is between those two.
And Truex is a legacy. They gave him the
choice is between Zane Smith and Shane.
Yeah.
And I think Shane.
They gave him a free pass because he's at the end of his career.
Well, the thing too that I saw on social media, somebody pointed out Chase Briscoe when he was in the Xfinity car several years ago. He said, "If I don't win races, then I'm just going to quit NASCAR right here." And he ended up winning 9 races that year. I forgot what year it was, but of course that's when after that. Yeah, that's when after that he got his big break.
Last good year.
Yeah. So he's pretty much going in with the same mentality going to JGR. And if he doesn't do good this year, then he's going to cut himself out, which I don't know how true that is because, that's big money.
That's not true.
Yeah, I know.
That's not going to happen.
If it's not himself, it's JGR going to cut him. But,
not many drivers are going to cut themselves out in their 20s. They get cut out if they're not performing. We'll see. I think he's got the talent for sure. I think on talent, though, maybe Noah deserved it a little bit more, but I understand the politics of Noah Gragson being very openly a hater of Ty Gibbs.
Well, that goes to show you, though, and then I'm not hating on Noah because I like Noah and I like Ty Gibbs. I root for both. If you really wanted that ride and if you really thought you were in contention for it and the only thing holding you back was beef with Ty Gibbs, then you didn't show a good maturity level going to Joe Gibbs saying, hey, I can get over that if he can. But I'm pretty sure Ty Gibbs is going to be the guy that's going to be running the show eventually because Joe Gibbs ain't got nobody now. So it's like Austin Dillon. He's eventually going to be running the show. He needs to be running it now, but that's beside the point. I think if you've got beef, and it's the same thing with Corey Haim, if you are turning down a Joe Gibbs ride because you don't get along with little shorty Ty Gibbs, then you're a fucking moron. Because Joe Gibbs and Hendrick are the powerhouses of NASCAR.
I don't think these guys are turning Joe Gibbs down. I think Joe Gibbs is turning them down.
Yeah.
I
don't see Joe Gibbs turning down Corey Haim. Noah maybe. I don't think if he has the option to put Corey in the car, I don't think it happens. I don't think he turns it down. I think there's some conversation that needs to be had between 2 drivers.
I don't know.
If Kevin Harvick and fucking Robbie Gordon can be on the same team and coincide, anybody fucking can. Yeah, if Kevin Harvick and Kurt Busch could do it and only have one fist fight, anybody fucking can.
Well, Kevin Harvick is his grandpappy. He's not isn't the owner of RCR or SHR. So that's kind of a big factor in it.
It seems like Joe Gibbs really hates internal conflicts with the team, and he doesn't want anything to do with it. Like, there's been the reports. I know everybody's seen the reports about the Eric Almirola stuff. Don't know if it's true or not. But, I mean, I don't know.
He is back at Indy. So that's What's the rumors that I'm missing?
I know. I remember that he was like he was.
There was a rumor. Now, I don't know why. I don't know why these two would be in the same competition meeting. Because they're not on the same team. They do run the same manufacturer and they're an alliance. But one's an Xfinity driver and one's a Cup driver. There was a report that came out like a couple months ago that apparently him and Bubba Wallace had gotten to a fist fight in a competition meeting. And that's why
Did they not get into it last year with each
taken out
other?
of-
They did under a
When
rain.
Eric was
delay,
still, yeah. So maybe it was just a
Yeah.
carryover. That might be some truth to that. To be honest, that's the first I've heard of it. but
and
that might actually hold
apparently
some weight.
and apparently that's why his rides with the Xfinity team's kind of been cut back a little bit.
I don't know how true that is. That could be a very easy,
Oh, yeah.
like Bubba Boomer.
I don't know.
Boomer.
When the dude goes out there and wins a race and in the Xfinity car and he's not full time, I don't think Joe Gibbs will take him out because he's fighting with a driver that's not on his team. I tell Bubba to go shut off. My guy's winning. You ain't, bitch. Maybe you deserve to get your ass
I mean,
beat.
think of Ryan Truex. Though Ryan Truex has won 2 races for them, and he's not full time.
Yeah.
I don't.
And I
think
know
it's
he
because
probably
brings
deserves
some
to be.
sponsorship.
Ryan Truex does.
Yeah,
Like
no.
I think Ryan Truex is a good driver, and I think he deserves a better shot than what he's been getting.
Yeah. But we shall see how that works out for Joe Gibbs Racing. The fourth charter from SA Chart being sold is kind of the one that was a question mark. A lot of people speculated RCR, and now you wonder maybe is Trackhouse and 2311 still set to get those two that were in theory to go to them? But now the fourth charter will remain under the ownership of Gene Haas, and will be a team called the Haas Factory Team.
Which is a fucking stupid name. It's almost as
That's the most
stupid as
generic
Legacy.
name ever.
It's like the dude had him sign his papers and couldn't think of nothing, and the person was going,
Why not Haas Racing?
Yeah, Haas Racing. So my thought on this is
They're gonna be
in
bad.
this announcement,
I don't know.
they said, Haas Factory Team. Gene Haas, I'm full owner. Joe Custer's going to run the show. And I asked him, why do you want this team? And he didn't say, I want to go out and win a championship.
Promote my
He wants
brand.
to promote his brand and stay in the sport.
So you don't want to win? You want to
Which
run
means he
third
must
or
have
whatever?
money.
Oh,
Gene Haas has got plenty of money.
He's got a fucking
He's
F1
been
team.
he's been dumping money into an F1 team just for them to run,
30th.
15th to 18th every fucking week, like
Out
Oh,
of
so that's
20.
their 30th.
out of 20. Yeah,
I don't know.
this team is going to be the new Rick Ware Racing.
And
just with
you
one car.
assume Cole Custer's going to drive that car? It's going to
Do
be
they keep Ford?
Yes.
That's
That's
going to be the difference maker. Do they switch to another manufacturer
Believe they're
and
staying
get some
with
alliance
Ford.
help besides Ford? Because Ford's
I
shadowing.
mean, yeah, they're going to have to get alliance help. So they're definitely not going to be a tier 1
No.
team.
I believe I read that they're staying with Ford.
Because me though, they're staying in the same place. That's an awful big building for one fucking car. Which I guess they're going to consolidate.
They're keeping 2 Xfinity cars also.
They'll move the Xfinity cars in there because they were separate from what I could tell. They were in the back half.
yeah, but what are you going to do with the other half that's not being used?
Rent it.
I don't know
out,
because, there
storage.
was those reports about Front Row moving in there, but I don't really know what they're doing.
I mean, if they only do 3, and he only has 1, that's plenty of room for 4 cars still. I mean, it could
run out of the
happen.
same shop.
Here it is. Some notes talking to Joe Custer about Haas Factory Team plan is to remain. Ford currently builds the Xfinity Series cars for Ford teams, open to an Alliance and Cup, but don't have one yet. Haas to be primary sponsor for the 1 Cup car, looking for sponsors for the 2 Xfinity Series cars.
Oh, so that tells me right there, Riley's gone.
Assume.
Yeah.
Yes. Riley's going to Cup. I don't know what.
Yeah, I think
Riley's
he's
going
getting
to
a cup
Cup.
ride.
Because I don't think if you don't have a Cup ride lined up, you're not leaving there.
I think he's probably got a ride at Front Row with
Or
Monster
2311.
primary sponsorship. Yeah, or 2311.
I think the best case
I won't say
scenario for him
2311.
would.
I just think that he would get the most out of it.
I think that it would be the best for him maybe to go to Front Row because maybe the expectations wouldn't be so high, and you wouldn't be putting yourself in a spot to potentially get stomped by your other teammates, because your teammates at front row in theory could be Todd Gilliland and Noah or Barry.
But you're not going to get better if you're not getting stomped by your teammates. If you're running same as them, you're not learning.
But front row becomes a tier 1 Ford team. They're a tier 1 Ford team this year, and expanding their 3 cars, you assume they're going to continue to try to improve. So I would go to 2311 if I were him, but I could see him ended up at front row and maybe Corey Heim in that third 2311 car next year. Or Riley in the third 2311 car. But I think Corey Heim deserves a cup ride, 100%.
You mentioned about Barry earlier. Do you think that he would try to find another ride in Cup? You think that he's out the door?
I think Barry's either going to
we
front row
might be
or
seeing
Wood
Barry outside.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Wood Brothers.
I mean,
maybe taking
I
Rodney
wouldn't be
with him, that would
surprised.
actually turn that team around big time.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised, but really the only thing that's helping Josh Berry is Rodney Childers because he doesn't have sponsorship, and it's kind of tough. Like he doesn't have any money behind him.
Josh Berry kind of fits the Wood Brothers mold.
And Rodney's guys.
He
Not
does.
just Rodney, it's that whole crew.
Yeah. That'd be something that Penske would probably like to add to their organization, to do that.
I could see him
21 car.
at the 21. I feel like that would
Is
make the most
Rodney and
sense.
his expertise, yes.
I think that'd be a good move for the 21. And then that maybe makes me think Noah might be at front row, I think that kind of makes that maybe his landing
Something you
spot.
got to remember, Noah and Raleigh are our childhood friends. And if they're both bringing sponsorship with their respective brands, I mean, it's a win-win.
I mean, you got to assume Noah's going to bring Bass Pro and Riley's going to bring Monster.
Yep.
And Noah
and do they keep Loves?
You'd think, and maybe that could be a sponsor for Noah.
Split between them.
Or Todd.
Yeah, it could be split.
Because they announced Todd's extension, but they didn't say what car number he'd be in. So that makes me think maybe he moves to the 34 and does the Loves deal.
Do we think they bring back the old numbers, the 34, 38, and 36? Well, they've already got 34 and the 38, but I think they bring back the 36.
Well, and, they've been running the 36 part-time, too. Like, even Riley,
with
he run
Zane
a couple
Smith
races.
and
in
Riley.
Yeah, Zane Smith, yeah.
So the silly season actually has started to kind of add up for me in my head during this show, where I think Noah ends up at front row. I think Riley could be there with him, and I think the 2311.
We know Riley's in Cup, just from that little screenshot.
Yeah, for sure. Harrison Burton, maybe with Dex, goes to the Haas Factory Xfinity team. Ford might try to keep him in their camp, just have him at the Xfinity level. Could you see maybe a Ryan Preece in that other Xfinity deal for Haas?
How
I don't know. They seem like they've shit on him.
Yeah, I think he might be out of Haas completely. But how ironic would it be that they sign him
the Cup car?
To an Xfinity deal, and then he takes Custer's Cup ride, and then the team implodes, and then Custer's going to come back and take his Cup ride, and he's going to have to go back down to the Xfinity team.
Yeah,
and that was all because of Tony, which in theory was probably a bad call. To be honest, it helped Cole. It wasn't a bad call for Cole Custer, but to pick Ryan Preece kind of was.
I think Cole Custer would have been better in that car. Honestly,
they could have got Noah a year earlier, maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think he would have chose SHR over the 42.
Especially because they all know during that year they were in a transition year from Chevy, knowing that they weren't going to stay with Chevy, and they're switching to Toyota.
Yeah.
So they wasn't getting
Toyota,
no backing whatsoever.
Toyota seemed like Toyota was going to push him out no matter what.
Yeah.
And another thing, could we see maybe the 42 open up? John Hunter Nemechek apparently hasn't been making too many friends in his ride with other Toyota drivers. So
I think he stays. I don't see any movement there.
I don't see him moving up to Joe Gibbs. Well, obviously he's not going to Joe Gibbs now, but I don't see him moving to 2311 either.
No, I think he could
over
be
a Corey Heim.
I think John Hunter Nemechek maybe in a year or two could become a lower series lifer.
Maybe. I just don't feel like he's getting the right equipment where he's at now either. I don't think Legacy
They've been running
is
like
up to
shit.
snuff even with Toyota.
Yeah.
It's not just him. Like Eric Jones has been running like
And they're
shit
running
too.
together. They ain't like they're like far apart. It ain't like one's in the front,
They're
one's in
both
the back.
running in
They're
the
both
back.
in the fucking
Let's-
back. They're
let's
not in
not
the middle.
forget.
They're fucking both in the back.
What was
Yeah.
it? Was it last week they qualified last and second to
yeah.
last?
37, 38.
And they finished
That's
almost
not
there.
right.
If it weren't for the
Yeah.
hard DNF, and they probably would have. Jimmy Johnson picked a bad.
Look-
He picked a bad egg.
Well, it's a shame because you
I'll be
wouldn't
right back.
thought that Richard Petty team would end up being like how Michael Jordan started coaching for the Charlotte Hornets basketball team, and then you saw how that team was just total garbage right off the bat. That's
Yeah, when
pretty
he
much
bought them.
yeah, that's pretty much how it is with Jimmy Johnson teaming up with Richard Petty. It's a shame, but it is what it is.
Yeah. I'm trying to get picks going right now. Do anything we missed from the week in NASCAR news? I feel like we're missing a little something. I don't know. Any new? Has anybody else been getting like political spam texts?
Not lately.
I'm getting like texts from both sides.
I get turbo vote every once in a while, but that's about it.
Trump wants me to donate to him. I can tell you that's not happening.
He picked
Don't
the wrong
look at
Michael,
my-
right?
Don't look at my door over there. Whoop, Biden 20. Whoops. Yeah. Let's get into picks.
I think I might go first. At Austin
I'm
Dillon.
not sure. Oh, that could
Unless
be
Ty
a
Dillon
good
finished
one.
worse.
Ty Dillon actually finished 20th. Not a bad run for Ty Dillon.
If that race would have actually gotten called, I would have actually gotten a point for Austin Dillon.
Here we are. Wessel and I get out of the gutter, and now we are all in double digits, as it's kind of starting to become pretty competitive here. Let's find out who picks first this week. Doom, 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 na, 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 na. Austin Dillon really
I was muted.
suck.
Is that where I'm at now? Is 14?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Got a big 5-point week there. So, yeah. Austin Dillon makes Tegan Jones pick first. Who do you want, Mr. Jones?
Chad Fincham.
What? Chad
Chad
Fincham isn't even
Fincham.
racing.
Yes, he is. 66 car. Check the entry
Are you
list.
serious?
I'm dead
Why are you
serious.
picking Chad Fincham? This isn't
You
like
get
a
the
bit.
first pick, and your first pick is Chad Fincham.
Yes.
This
It
isn't a
is.
bit. Like you're
No, it's not.
okay. I know what you're trying to do. You want fucking SVG for the goddamn street course. Okay, little fucker.
Hope that
What
son of
did I
a bitch
pick?
don't have no tires.
Oh fuck, Herb's just racing?
Yes, he is. He called out Bob on that too, by the way.
Really?
He said, "Bob, you're wrong." When Bob released the entry list.
All right, next up for picks here is so Ty Dillon was 20th.
Is this
Ryan
my first
Preece,
picks win this year?
like an overall win?
Not overall,
Like
just
a dark green.
this is my first dark green this year, I think.
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. This has not been a good
I had my
season.
first dark green last week, so we've been kind of in the same boat over here, Wessel. Ty Dillon finished 20th. Ryan Preece was 11th. Michael McDowell was 15th. So picking next is Bradley. Let me make sure he doesn't pick this guy, is going to pick the 2022 Nashville winner, Chase Elliott. That's actually,
Good pick, Bradley.
in my opinion, a pretty good pick. So next up is JB with Michael McDowell. I'm pretty sure he might be asleep. So I don't have a
Who,
pick
JB?
from him. Yes.
Oh, that new wife's wearing him out.
Yeah, I know, right?
Breaking his
Sally's up
headboard.
next. Sally's up next. If I tell him who is up now, Chad Fincham and Chase Elliott are off the board. Those are two names.
Sal said it's Ryan Priest in the comments.
Ryan Priest is so ass, he said, actually. He wants Corey LaJoy. Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's a pick for sure. We have only one representative from Kev Ryan here tonight, and it is the Kev section of that. Who do you want, Mr. Hall?
Somebody said that Riley Herbst is racing this weekend.
That's correct.
15.
Riley Herbst.
God, this is a fucking shitty ass picks week. I wasn't gonna swing.
Yeah, I wasn't either, but I think I kind of have to.
Now, seeing the lay of the land, I might have to swing. I'm gonna do like a half swing.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing. There's a guy I can pick here who is definitely going to get points over these motherfuckers, except for maybe Chase Elliott.
I'm gonna pick Kyle Busch.
Okay.
He's got to figure it out.
You
right?
think the bad luck's just going to run out all of a sudden? You're just going to go out there and put it in victory
Watch him
lane?
win this race.
You know what? I think this is falling in for me. I kind of like this. See, am I next? Yeah, because JB in the picked. I got Josh Berry, I think, right?
Don't do that. Let me see.
I think I still have Josh Berry.
Yeah, Josh Berry.
I'll take Josh Berry. I think Josh Berry can. If Josh Berry can get me points, I'll take that as a valuable pick. And looking at this week, the only person I think who can beat him is Chase Elliott.
Yeah, I think Bradley might be in a pretty
This
good
is a bad
spot
week.
this week. Chad Fincham kicking off the picks this week was a pretty bad omen for what we got going on. I thought Tegan was I thought it was a total bit. I didn't take him seriously.
No, they announced it today. He's going to be in that car, and I thought, no, that's a damn good pick today.
This motherfucker just wants fucking SVG. I mean, it's so stupid. I hope Kyle Busch's fucking transaxle fucks on lap 1. And you guys
There's a possibility that could happen. If it does, we know that he's getting out of that contract, and Richard Church is already fucking him in the ass.
With Keith Rodden hooking up these
He's getting
cars,
the Joe Gibbs treatment.
Speaking of that, Andy Petrie's retired. Effective immediately. So basically,
that's what happens when you don't stick up for your team. When your own damn driver says, "I suck just as bad as you do, my guy. Bring it." And Petrie's just going, "What do we do? What do we do? Do we deny it? Because I don't think we can."
Gotta give you.
Where's
a shout
Austin
out.
Hill? Where's Austin Hill?
Austin Hill wouldn't say that fucking shit.
He's probably out there hunting with RC.
You're about him picking out his next watch.
I like how you put the copy and paste and then put this fucking photo with it.
That's literally when Calvert or Streaky Stenhouse is getting held back, and you just see him over there going, "Howdy, partner."
I'm pretty sure
The dude was late for his
dinner.
he walked out into a fucking street fight and was like, "What the fuck am I supposed to do?"
I'm pretty sure it's legal on the last lap.
You can't pass, but he passed by the double yellow.
Dale Jarrett called him nothing short of a fucking doofus.
Yeah.
I gotta find that clip because it is so fucking funny.
I think it's legal on the last lap.
I wish I was a fly on the wall to see Dale Jarrett's face.
Going. You fucking idiot!
You see this
Did he seriously just say that?
Who was the lead announcer? Was it Alan Bethwick or Marty Reed?
Jerry Punch.
Jerry Punch.
Oh
yeah.
God, Jerry Punch was probably like,
"Oh my God!
Oh my God!" Copyright.
All right, here we go.
So they're not getting that opportunity.
Can y'all hear it?
David Reagan hasn't won. Regan Smith, the rookie.
Y'all hear it okay?
Yeah.
I can hear it.
Tony Stewart has never won at Talladega in a NASCAR Sprint Cup car.
He's going to do a lot of blocking right here. They've got to run on him. Got to run.
Here they come.
I can't go down there and do that, though.
Actually, I think it's legal on the last lap.
He might have got it right there.
I think it's legal on the last lap. We're looking next door to see.
Below the yellow line. It was below.
We still haven't got it.
Really?
But it looks like Regan's fifth won this race.
Why would it be legal on the last lap?
You heard Tony Stewart, some of those guys commenting on you.
Dale Jarrett kind of fucking destroyed
I
him
love
right
Jarrett, man.
there. Yeah.
Granted, with the rules
And that was
today,
the last. That was the last day that Dale Jarrett was in the booth in ESPN. The rest of the year,
Was it? No. It wasn't.
I don't know.
Andy,
I'm sure
I think Dale
dipshit
Jarrett.
had pulled in.
Why would it be legal on the last lap? That's
Yeah.
literally just.
stare.
it
Like,
wasn't,
Andy
it wasn't legal on the
Petry's right
first
here.
187 laps.
I
It
can.
was legal on the
I
last
bet
one.
Andy Peters out there.
I
pointing
play
like,
favoritism.
I think it's legal on the last lap. I think he won. You dumb fuck, Andy Petrie. I think it's legal on the last
That's the
lap.
same as when
And he kept
Juan
saying it.
Pablo and Harvick got into it. He was like, "Well, Harvick is the one that started it." I'm like, this cocksucker.
And Rusty Wallace
And he's an
kept going,
RCR dude.
Rusty Wallace was like, Harvick's not a guy to mess with. Harvick's not a guy to mess with. Harvick's not a guy to mess with. He sounded like Ryan just emoting that one line over and over again.
But neither is Juan. Well, to be fair, he did start it. Fucking idiot. You don't know nothing about fair. You lost that a long time ago.
Jeff Burton coming over to break it up was funny.
That's
Jeff
hilarious.
Burton's the ultimate peacemaker.
He's like, all right, you motherfuckers, what are we
Until
doing?
it
Hey,
comes
except for
to
that.
Jeff
Hey, except for that one day with Jeff Gordon.
Yeah.
And he was fucking, he screamed at Kyle Busch one time. I don't know if it was
at
some
Charlotte.
Oh, he about whooped his
Yeah.
ass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And Dale was like, oh boy, we don't usually see him like this. Oh man, good times, right? Fucking Andy Petrie bringing out the best of us. Good career. Good career.
Enjoy your
Andy Petrie.
retirement,
No,
you fucking bitch.
Serious question. You imagine him and Michael Waltrip in the hot tub slammed with just nothing but pure alcohol
Slamming each other?
over each other like that.
It's legal on the last lap, right, Mikey?
Freaking slamming some drinks back in the hot tub. Just-
They're not always
What's
slamming drinks,
happening?
apparently. I'm pretty sure it's legal on the last lap. Oh my god. Is that one of the dumber commentator moments ever we've had? Like we have mistakes and those are funny, but this was like a flat out like dumb.
yeah.
thing.
Because he kept repeating it.
Yeah.
The guy was a crew
It was
chief.
on the last
The,
lap.
the guy was a crew chief. Could you imagine if he was a crew chief? Hey, it's legal on the last lap, buddy. Make the move. And the guy makes the move. The guy makes the move and gets disqualified because of the crew chief. Because the crew chief apparently didn't have the current version of the rule book.
You can't stick
That
it
was
in there,
never the
man.
rule book.
Yeah.
He had the rule book from 2000 season where it says nothing about a yellow line.
He had the fucking Dale Jr. rule book.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, if your number was a number 8, he'd have been all right.
You can't stick it in there, Andy.
Yeah, that's what.
Michael Waltrip ain't saying that. Trust me, he ain't
No.
saying that.
Michael Waltrip's a little zesty. Little zesty.
I
He's
mean,
a puss,
you-
too, from what I could read here lately. He's all about muffling
balls
their
are hot.
sound because they're too loud.
Yeah.
But
I don't know about y'all, but I enjoy the loud race, the cars.
What are you saying, Wessel?
The pool video. Michael Waltrip. What did he say?
Oh my
The dude
god.
was
what
on
didn't
one.
he? My balls are freezing right now.
He was either drinking or he had
My
inhaled
balls are
too
hot,
much.
or my balls are
Clorox.
cold, or some shit like that. Yeah.
My balls are freezing. Oh man, I'll find that TikTok. We'll watch it real quick.
It's a good one. It's a good
It
one.
really is.
I have it bookmarked on my TikTok. It's awesome.
It might be the best thing Michael Waltrip's done in, I don't know,
Ever
Since he's won a race.
since winning the
Yeah.
Daytona 500.
since fucking 2003. All right, here we are. This video's got 117,000 likes. That's like a pretty decent amount on TikTok. Like, Good for Michael Waltrip pulling this off here.
So lately I've been getting in my pool because I heard information. I don't know what I heard.
Buddy's toasted.
Reason. Hopefully it helped.
Hopefully it helps.
You just give it all you got.
You give it all you got. Yeah,
I'm
my
sure Andy Petrie might be in the car
Seas maybe
or in the pool.
but some bitch. Whew. It's cold. I mean, really. Okay. I hope you enjoyed Dover today. It was amazing. The crowd was awesome.
Amazing.
Vibe was
He got that glut special just then.
energetic. No, energetic.
Got that hawk too.
Energetic.
Yeah.
The vibe was amazing.
But can you hawk 2 underwater though?
So lately I've been
Hawk
I'm gonna
2,
find that
spit
out.
on that thing.
Two.
You know what I'm
Buddy's
saying?
toasted. Hell yeah, brother.
Oh my god.
Mikey is absolutely baked. Oh, jeez. This is a pretty fucking bad comment. It's like the opposite of Matthew Perry. Holy fuck.
No, it's your favorite video, Spencer. Don't lie. Sal got you. Sorry, I just read the comments there. I'm like, yeah, no. Spencer, you can't hide that from us.
At least we know Spencer's watching.
Mm-hmm.
Wessel, you know what?
Good boy.
I am proud of
I
myself.
hope you're proud of yourself,
I
you
am.
son of a bitch.
I am.
You are a fucking asshole, you know
I'm
that?
proud of myself.
I'm proud
I don't
of
know
you.
what I did. I don't know what I did, but I am proud of myself, I guess.
I didn't know you
I
guys
think he's
had
more
this.
mad at you than it is at me, so that's good.
I didn't do anything. I don't
What,
know
doesn't
what
make any
what
sense.
did you do?
I didn't do
He was in the
anything.
way.
He moved me. I crossed him over, and I pushed him a little bit too. That's all I did, and I'm the bad guy.
All right, Spencer, he's right here. Say how you feel.
Tell us what he
Right
did,
here.
Spencer.
Yeah.
Right
Show us where he touched you.
He's right here, Spencer. What are you gonna do? Say nothing. Okay.
Oh.
Hi.
Oh my
I
god.
guess-
Bye.
Goodbye. Anyway, good episode, guys. The lab.
He's proud of himself. Goodbye.
That was really, really good. Hey, by the way, I'm working on Radioactive for the Martinsville race.
Okay.
Goal is for it to be out tomorrow, if not Thursday.
Are we gonna give out a
Oh.
radio sweetheart? It's been a while since we've done that. We gave it to Goose.
I can give out a radio sweetheart, maybe.
I think we know who the winner is.
Yeah, I think it's the same guy about every week. He is our Kurt Busch. What the fuck does he want? That was my favorite. Just the extended bleep. Is it wanting to go yet? Kurt, NASCAR's going asking you to go to the back. I'm fucking here. I think when you
God,
watch
I
that-
miss Kurt. I miss prime
Toxic Kurt
2010, 2012. Kurt.
12.
God, that
Like,
was the best.
yeah.
13 even.
And
Whew.
he was getting arrested for shit, and I mean, it was fucking crazy.
Doing what was he doing? 70 on the strip in Las Vegas or some shit he got pulled over for.
Yeah, I mean, it was fucking crazy. Him and Kyle Buschberg.
Who was
All
the
right.
lady in the
Their
pit
brother
road
thing.
trying to get an interview with him? He's like, "What? What makes you effing think that?" I
Bob.
forgot what the whole deal was
Didn't
about.
him and
but-
Bob get into it on a couple times?
That was
He,
Bob the second time. That's what got him to that suspended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bob asked him, does your probation affect how you raced all guy there?
Yeah.
And he goes, it refrains me from beating the shit out of you right now, Bob.
Out of you, Bob.
Oh man.
All right, here we are. Let's watch this real quick.
Insanity, it's time for
Oh, the crying towel. Jimmy Spencer.
Yes, that was the best.
Gets every week. I hate my job. What the does he want? Ran some of them over there. I want to whoop you. You gotta start at the back, but then too soon. Is it in the go yet? They want you to drop part of the back. I am there! I'm there! All these grab me! I'm down! Oh man, cool down. Let's finish and get some points here.
It's just him going, "Fuck!"
I, for one, just can't imagine that Kurt would actually come close to hitting any crew members on pit road. Anyways, what was going on here? When Kurt walked out of the hauler, only to turn around and walk right back in. With everything that went down, the penalty does not surprise me one bit. So, Kurt, I gotta do it. One flat tire and a blow up like that. You got it. It's the crying down. A special red one, an angry one. It's only May. And you've already had a full blown blow up. Oh, God, Kurt. So we saw the aftermath of Kurt's flat tire. Jeff Gordon, however, had 2 flat tires. And look how similarly the 2 champions reacted. Here's Gordon's reaction.
Bad luck is when you run over something that no one else can find, and you run over and cut a tire. We did that twice tonight.
And here's Kurt's.
Wow.
So clearly, Steve, very similar reactions from Jeff and Kurt. After having the same issue, Jeff gets a cigar award, though.
All right.
Maybe it'll cheer him up. Can't believe how many things have gone wrong for Big Daddy this year. This will turn
Big
it around
Daddy.
for Jeff.
Whoa.
Yeah, they called Jeff Gordon Big Daddy at one point. It was a little strange.
I love Steve.
Oh,
I ain't heard that.
God,
Somebody
I
called
wish
Big
you
Daddy
could
since
lie.
you kept Ron last night.
I haven't heard Jeff Gordon's name get called as Big Daddy since
2012,
NBC called Ryan Blaney the Honey Badger.
That was really strange. Big Daddy Jeff Gordon was kind of a thing though in like 2011 and 12. I don't know why they started calling him that, but he was Big Daddy Jeff Gordon for a little while. Which I love that.
Sound like a
Jimmy
DW
Spencer was
thing.
fucking awesome. Yeah, it was DW. Larry Mack kind of got that one cooking. Yeah, that was really. Anybody remembers Jeff Gordon in 2012? That first half of the season, he had some fucking horrendous luck.
Oh,
And then it all turned around at Pocono when he restarted fucking 3rd row and 6th place on the outside, and the top 5 cars wrecked each other. And then there was a torrential downpour directly after, so that was really good. I remember I was like 9 years old, and I said they're all gonna wreck, and then it's gonna rain, and then it actually happened. So that was pretty cool. I was pretty jocked up, sitting on my couch as a 9-year-old watching that rain pour down. Unfortunately, somebody died that day at the track because of the rain.
from the lightning.
Yeah, so,
That's where we got our lightning strike rule at.
Yep.
Pretty sure they were horsing around though, from everything I read about it. So yeah. Anyway, shout out to Kurt Busch. He was not a fucking healthy mental state at that
He
point.
stood on business. He still stood on business.
The fuck does he want?
His own business.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. That'll do it. Let's have a moment of silence as we exit as the music takes us home for Andy Petrie.
I think it's legal on the last lap.
I thought you were being serious there for a second.
Thank you, Andy Petrie.
I think it's legal on the outro.
I think it's legal at the end of the podcast.
Dale Jarrett.
What the fuck are you talking about, Andy? All right. See y'all next week after wherever the fuck they're going. Nashville. Rip Andy Petrie.